What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that is the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does is that it helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can get notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them of this news and information. And yes, that does also give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm also. And with the introduction out of the way, let's now get into today's news. And today we are headed back to Texas, the El Paso sector to be exact, because recently, a few days ago, there was another violent clash at a border wall in between illegal immigrants attempting to cross the border illegally and Border Patrol agents. So what I want to do is get into this video right now, and then we'll discuss it a little bit more after the fact. It's about 50 seconds long, and as usual, all the links to the videos and articles that come up on the screen will be in the description box below, so you can watch these things for yourself and read these things for yourself, minus my news/commentary. But let's get into this clip right now. And just an FYI, there's no sound on here other than like kind of staticky background noise. But look at this right here. This is clearly not asylum seeking. Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger. On no level is this asylum seeking. What you're looking at right now at this portion here, right? On this side of the border wall, that's actually the Texas DPS who are apprehending illegal immigrants who are crossing the border, hopping the wall with the ladder that you see there, right? And what you're going to see next, as they struggle to take the ladder away and they struggle to remove these illegal immigrants who cross the border illegally, breaking the law, you're going to see from this point moving forward, those who are at the top of the ladder begin to assault the Border Patrol agents. They're going to throw rocks at them. They're going to throw bottles of water at them. You're going to see them throw sand at them. And what's interesting here that I want to highlight before we carry on is that these individuals that you see running at the top of the video, right? So here, that's the Mexico side, what we're looking at. Those individuals who are running, they're running for the purposes of becoming violent. That's why they're running and approaching the border wall in that way. They see that their friends, I guess you can say, their comrades have gotten caught. And in seeing them get caught, what they're then doing is rushing the border wall to throw sand in the eyes of the Border Patrol agents, hand them bottles, hand them rocks to assault the Border Patrol agents. So let's get into it some more, and I'm going to stop talking from this point out and just let you watch. Like I said, they ran over there for the purposes of essentially handing them weapons to assault the Border Patrol agents with. Let's watch this one more time as we see the individual down in the corner throwing rocks. And let me do you guys a favor and remove that from the bottom as well. How is this not an invasion? How is this not breaking and entering? You see, if someone were to attempt to enter your home in this way, and you proceeded to hit them with the ashes to ashes, dust to dust, if I may speak in coded language, if you ashes to ashes, dusted to dusted one of these individuals, you'd be justified because you shouldn't be breaking and entering into my home in this fashion anyways. But when it comes to breaking and entering into the United States, you know, any and everything goes, right? And the Border Patrol agents, they're not allowed essentially to do anything. They're not allowed to defend themselves. You can hit them with, you know, rocks. You can hit them with bottles. You can throw sand in their eyes, as you can see here in the video. And that's just okay. You know, they're not allowed to do anything. These individuals that you see here that they caught crossing the wall, you can bet and pretty much assure and probably bet your life savings on the fact that they're going to be released into the citizen population. Because under the Biden administration, it doesn't matter how you enter the country. It doesn't matter whether or not you come into a legal port of entry or not. All you have to do is touch ground here in the United States. And once you touch ground here, despite everything that you see here, you can say, hey, well, I'm just seeking asylum, and they'll just let you go. We saw the other situation that took place in Texas. What was it? Back in April, it was, when there was a 200 or so illegal immigrants that stormed the border. Many of them violently assaulted, I believe it was a Texas National Guard, and all charges were dropped on virtually all the migrants, except for maybe 5 of them. Outside of that, pretty much all the charges were dropped, despite what video evidence shows of all those individuals assaulting the Texas National Guard, I believe it was, right? They were assaulting them, but no charges for them. And they were all free to be let go into the citizen population here in the United States. Now, what I want to do next very quickly in closing, as we've watched this, violent invasion occur over and over again on the video, I want to take a moment to play a quick snippet from NewsNation, where they interviewed Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez of Val Verde County, Texas. And I just want us to listen to what he had to say here, because I agree with him on this. At this point right here, at the point that we're at right now, and it's really always been at this point. But I agree with him when he states it's not about politics. None of this is about politics. None of this is about being on the right or being on the left. It's just simply a matter of national security. I think anybody with common sense should be able to agree with that. But, obviously, at least half the country, maybe a little over half, doesn't have common sense. So it's unfortunate. But let's get into this interview right here before we head on out.
The Abbott wall is full steam ahead here in Del Rio, just a few miles away. Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez, he says he's on board. He tells NewsNation this is not a political issue. This is a national security issue. And he supports what Governor Abbott is doing because it not only protects Val Verde County, but it also protects the nation.
Also, the significance in his statement as well is that this sheriff is a Democrat. I want to make sure to highlight that as well.
Well, I appreciate what Governor Abbott is doing to the west of us, from basically Lake Amistad to hopefully eventually out to the eastern end of our community. Those efforts will protect our community, will help keep our community safe. So I know that there's still some gaps within that fence. So hopefully that technology will cover those gaps to where people can respond.
So now, once again, in closing, I'm going to make sure also, like I stated earlier, to leave the links to everything that you see here in the description box below, especially to this NewsNation interview right here, because the bulk of the video from NewsNation consisted of their border patrol, or I should say of their border reporter, for lack of better words, just speaking on essentially the brief history of the border wall in that area and that sector in El Paso. And it's really interesting because as they go through it, from what you heard at the start of this video, she was discussing how the border wall is being built by Greg Abbott, right, with the Texas tax dollars, right? But they go through a brief history very quickly in which they show the original border wall that was put up by George Bush. And then they fast forward to the current day where you see that as we speak right now, all the materials are lying down, collecting dust, not being used to build the border wall because Biden is dragging his feet, refusing to do so. All the material is there. The money has been spent to do so. It's just a matter of building it. But you'll see this flimsy, flim-flam wall, which is nothing more than chicken wire, right? Which was what was put up after the Trump administration was left. This flimsy chicken wire fencing. And behind this flimsy chicken wire fencing, what you're going to see in that video is, like I said, all the materials needed to build a border wall, but just sitting there collecting dust. And they've been sitting there for years. So I strongly advise you to go watch that video in its entirety from NewsNation. The link will be in the description box below. But in closing, this is just completely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like Frank Martinez says, or Joe Frank Martinez says, who's on your screen right now, it's beyond anything concerning party lines or who are you on the left or on the right. It's really a matter of national security. Outside of the fact that, you know, illegal immigrants are also crushing our cities as we speak, right? Especially liberal cities like LA, Chicago, and New York. It's costing them a fortune to house and feed and clothe and to take care of all these people. But these mayors seem to not care, as well as the governors. They don't seem to care as well. So we'll see how this stuff continues to play out in the future. But with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram will be pinned in the description box below and will be in the comment section as well. Thank you for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.